Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to set up and connect the Cartrain unit. So what you're going to need first, of course, is the power outlet. Connector straight on the side here. Come around to the front, have a look that there's a main switch on the front of the unit here. This one here is going to connect the power up to the whole unit. You need to switch that on first. It's going to take a little while to boot because inside this touchscreen display that you see here is a real computer. It's got to boot up and it's going to control the whole system. If needed, there's an emergency stop switch. That's also, sometimes you need to make sure that that's not pushed in. Sometimes the system, if it doesn't boot up, just check that the switch is not switched on. If you have a look at some of the components that we've got down here, we've got two sets of keys. One key is for the ignition. One key is for the fault switches that we see here. Bunch of fault switches that I'll show you shortly. Okay, we've also got a service plug that you'll see here. This is going to be delivered in a small little plastic bag that you get with the unit. If it's not on there, you can connect it up. Now, of course, I didn't use gloves there. The system is completely safe to use without gloves. Of course, we're going to train that differently. Now, what we've got here is the ignition switch. If you've got the problem where the unit is not coming on when you turn the ignition switch on, we've also got a little 12-volt battery down here, which also needs to be connected. So there'll be a little 2mm cable like this, which connects up to the negative cable, which will then bring up the system. The battery is used as part of the shutdown procedure when we're doing the isolation of the high voltage system. There'll also be a bunch of different overlay masks that we can use for the system, and the overlay masks are for the various types of hybrids that the system can simulate. So we've got series, parallel, electric and fuel cell vehicles. Each of those will have their own overlay mask. So the overlay mask goes over the top of this section here. Now this section here is our breakout box. So up here we can actually measure real high voltage for the various components. So we can check the various motor generators, MG1, MG2, the resolver, inverter, and the high voltage battery. We've also got a connection here for the state of charge for the high voltage battery. There'll be 3 different bridge connectors that come with the unit as well. 2 of the yellow ones, they need to go here for the high voltage battery. We've also got one here. So I'll just bring up the touchscreen. We've got one over here, which corresponds in this case to the series parallel because that's the type of overlay mask that I'm using. If you have a look, there's 5 different connections here, and the holes that you'll see depend on the overlay mask that you've got. You can see that'll instantly change to the type of hybrid that you have. The other section that we have that you'll need to know is the 2 motor generators that we've got here. So these are, a lot of people will say, okay, are they 3-phase or are they DC because there's 2 cables? These are the smallest 3-phase motors that you can get. All 3 phases are running through the orange cable. The other cable here is for the control side, such as the resolver. We also have these 2 motor generators. Don't think of these as MG1, MG2. Because it's not a real vehicle that's driving along with inertia, we need this motor here to drive the actual motor during regeneration. So that's what's occurring. This is our drive motor, and this one here will be driving it during regeneration. The other section that we see down here is we've got our battery, service plug, and the high voltage inspection point. The battery here is 4 12-volt batteries, which is then 48 volts. The reason we've gone for 48 volts here is because this is the section that the students will have access to. So 60 volts is considered high voltage within the automotive engineering. So we're under that to make sure that everything is completely safe. Service plug, as normal, like I said, fused service plug, and the inspection point. There's also an interlock underneath the inspection point. If the inspection point is not connected, even connected up nice and tight, the system will shut down with a fault as well, like a normal vehicle. The other section that we've got here, this is our measurement device. So via the USB connection here, we've got a 4-channel oscilloscope that will connect to your PC and to run the virtual instruments and take oscilloscope measurements of all of the breakout points here. Last section that you need to know about is we've got the charger. This is in order to control the charging. That'll be done in a separate video. And last but not least, now because I took the service plug out, I just need to reset the fault. In order to run the unit, we just need to connect up or turn the potentiometer here for the speed. You can also control if we're going acceleration or downhill in order to get regenerative braking. Okay, and that's your short introduction to getting the system running.